Warcraft is the best video game movie released all year. The most aesthetically interesting, the most ambitious, the most loving towards the source material, and the most thematically rich. Admittedly, that's not saying much considering the competition is, thus far, bird feces smeared across the screen for 90 minutes, and literally the cutscenes from a video game that, you could play instead of watching the worst parts of it. Not to mention that the overall film is a bore outside of some spectacular special effects, but it is better than those two. Our story involves the invasion of orcs from a dead realm capturing humans to power a gate that would allow their entire forces to flood through and conquer this entire kingdom. Said forces involve Durotan and his pregnant wife Draka, the former of whom's concerned about the corrupting nature of the magic that allowed them to enter here after an encounter with the humans to reconsider their current leadership. All the while Lothar and Kadar investigate said magic as it was used to kill several villagers, and the Guardian returning after a long absence. The two try to form an alliance that backfires due to what appears to be an ambush on both sides, while the Fel slowly, and by slowly I mean out of nowhere, poisons the Guardian into helping the orcs summon their massive legions because it's magic. We don't have to explain it. The biggest positive the film can boast is in the technical department. The special effects for the orcs are as amazing as they look in the trailers, feeling every bit as lifelike and organic as the real flesh and blood humans they share the screen with. They'd almost be worth the price of admission just to see, were not for the majority of the film focusing on the largely boring and badly directed humans. Duncan Jones is a talented director, but it felt like someone hit the off switch when making this film since the human characters feel lost half of the time and feel completely disinterested in the other. It's honestly hard to say anything about them since they leave such little an impact on you, let alone the relationships with one another. There's some message about the importance of family that gets lost in the ether, largely because the film is far more invested in shoving the source material down the audience's collective throat. Most of the dialogue in the film sounds like the actors are just reading their descriptions off of a fan wiki, which will only help to fuel the rhetorical "this film was made for the fans" argument that people will likely throw around when confronted with any remotely negative criticisms of it, implying that none of them came from people who are themselves fans of the series, let alone the, let's be honest, silly assumption that Blizzard spent over $160 million making a film that the masses at large seeing this are, at best, familiar with the massively popular MMO, and not the video games that preceded it, which the film largely draws its various plot points and characters from. Honestly, the film could have been greatly improved by focusing on the internal conflicts of the orcs and the relationship of the two main ones, though maybe more of those scenes exist as a part of the footage that no doubt got left out of the theatrical cut because it feels like the film's been hacked to pieces. Most notably during the scenes that are meant to establish a romantic relationship between Lothar and Corona that comes out of nowhere and exits just as quickly, while the finale is incredibly rushed and disjointed, culminating in a sequel-bait ending which, if the current Chinese box office is any indication, Blizzard and Legendary are already in the middle of talking about how best to follow it up. Above all else, the film is just dull. Its reverence for the video games not extending to recreating any of the joy one would find from playing the first 3 Warcraft games for a couple of hours. Above all else, the film is just dull. The battles, few and far between as they are, somehow manage to be repetitive, largely because it's the same battle being played out 3 times, albeit with minor aesthetic differences, with our heroes holding the line until whatever magic-wielding characters have cast the necessary spell to resolve whatever current dilemma they may face, save for the final one, which has a slight twist to it that only goes to show how much more invested the film is in its lore than it is with its characters. There is a good dose of humor that, while it doesn't always get a good laugh, injects a bit of life into a film that feels like it's treading water. The Warcraft movie had a lot of people hoping it would be the first good video game movie adaptation, and while it definitely takes home the bronze medal on that front, that's not exactly the most prestigious medal to be wearing around one's neck. Sad to say, but it looks like we'll have to wait and see if Assassin's Creed is the one to finally break the mold. Until next time, game on, my friends. And if you're just as sick as hearing me talk about bad movies as I am of watching them, these next few seconds are for you. The Nice Guys is a great film, a hilarious buddy cop film that's a whole lot smarter than it appears to be on the surface. If you want a good laugh, give it a watch and skip out on this Warcraft. Get it? Warcraft because it's boring. I apologize for nothing.